Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Satyajit, and I am one of the co-organizers of Android Study Jam this year. Um, Today, we have our very first session of a very special guest, with a very special guest, that is Gurupreet Singh. He is a highly experienced Android developer, currently working with FoodPanda, based in Singapore. He is also an open source enthusiast, a conference speaker, and a tech entrepreneur. Uh, we are quite grateful to have him here with us today, and he is really a great person. Today, he is going to make a session of how to make and monetize our application. So let's welcome him.
Hey,
Hello,
hello,
Gurpreet.
hello.
Hello. Yeah.
So I will start by my brief introduction. So my name is Gurpreet, and I work as an Android developer with FoodPanda Delivery Hero, and I'm working with the application development for almost more than 10 years. And it started in my college, and I've been work with different startups, different platforms like BlackBerry, Windows, and moving on to the Android and iOS development. So I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just it's all yours.
thank you. So yeah. So today, as I said, like I've been working on app development, and I started. I remember first application I made was that got popular was just a football World Cup fixture app, and I launched it on BlackBerry, and it ended up getting like 60,000 downloads. And there was a lot of learnings involved, and how I can make money from it. How could I do it better? And later on, from all the learnings, I work with different startups and get to know more and more stuff. So today I'm just gonna go through that and just highlight those points, like which as a mobile developer you should know, not just about the tech, but this stuff also, which helps us to grow our product beyond the tech also. So I'm happy to share my knowledge and information I've gathered all through the years with you guys. So let's just start our first step journey with you. So today we go through what your app idea can be, and then we will go through the audience and the persona would be for the app, and then which platform we can target for the applications, and then talking about the development and the tech of that, and then understanding what are the release and monetization we can adopt for our applications. So talking about the idea. So your idea has to be always your main concern. Like it should tell the people like what problem you're gonna solve, and you need to be very clear in the sense that you need to understand what are the other existing apps, other existing products that are similar to yours, and how your ideas stand out. Believe me, like for this throughout a journey, I always think like, oh, my idea is unique. But then if you dig deeper, you will always find out there is someone doing something different, similar to you, what you think. But again, you have to find your core, which is how your ideas stand out, and then you list down all your must-have feature that you want uh, in your application that will help that idea to work. So main idea is to make sure that you have knowledge of what you're trying to solve, what your product or the service going to help in, and how it's different from the existing application or existing services. And now after you know the idea, you want to know about what your target audience going to be, because once you know your target audience, it helps you a lot understanding your product. It helps you make your product better, and knowing your audience, like who are your good customer going to be. If it's a fintech app, is it going to be all those who has access to the credit cards, debit cards? Or if it's going to be a game, then you may want to understand, is your target audience students or gamers, or which kind of uh, area you are targeting with them? And what do the qualities those share? Like are they all are playing games? Are they all are into dating apps? And so you need to know your audience before you start developing, and it helps in your roadmap of the application as well. And you need to understand why people like your product and services. Why would they like it? If you present it to me, would I like this idea? Would your friend like this idea? So before actually committing on making the whole app, just try to keep asking your question, like how I'm solving this and how I would want to approach it. And you definitely need to know the persona of your audience you're targeting, their age, gender, location, language, if you're targeting only for a specific region, if you're targeting for the whole country or the whole Pacific. So you need to understand beforehand before you start making your app. That helps you in the long term. And then you need to understand what your customer will gain from the choosing you over their competition. Like you need to understand why a person that using a similar app will come to your platform, what will make him come to your platform. These will be your defining features. So now you already know what your idea going to be, and now you have understanding of your audience and the person you're going to target. Now it's time to pick a platform. So whenever you are actually creating an app, and as a solo developer, I've created many apps. Like when I was creating for BlackBerry back then, I knew that that's the platform, but now it's not the case. BlackBerry market share is not even 1% anymore. Now there are other platforms like iOS, Android, and then you want to target. And when you're creating a first product, which is called minimum viable product, MVP, and you want to make sure that it validates your idea, it validates your product, that it's going to work in the market. So sometimes you do not have resources to target all the market or all the area. Like let's just say you want to launch some small peer-to-peer chat app, and you may not want to launch on all the devices available on all the countries. So you need to understand how the market penetration of that is, and how you can use that in your advantage to make it better and make sure that you are setting the path in the right way. So let's just say if you want to start some application, you want to target India, then you need to understand what is the penetration for the different platform like Android and iOS and other platform is. Especially if you want to target your application to Japan, you need to understand that it's a iOS dominant application, iOS dominant market, and then as compared to India, and then you set aside your priorities and make sure that if you want to launch in Japan, you make sure that you have an iOS version working as well, not just Android version. Similarly, if you want to just target Asia, you need to understand how you're targeting, which country you're targeting, which segment you're targeting, and then you start making an app. So if you see this penetration, you can easily make decisions like, okay, for India, I may want to start with the Android first app, but later on, I will once I have validated my idea, I have presented my MVP, I will start using making the iOS app as well. Similarly, for Japan, if you want to make decision, it's obvious you want to start with iOS, validate your idea, get it to more people, and then think, now when is the right time to launch Azure as well. So and other options are you can use the hybrid system like Flutter or React Native to launch for the both platform if your app or product really requires both platform to be present at the same time, because that's going to solve your feature set or something. So you can use Flutter or React Native as well. Even I have seen many startup, they start with the Flutter and React Native, and they make their MVP, they present it to their investors or other product, they test their idea in the market, and then once they start growing, they have ability to and enough resources to decide if they want to move to complete native or they want to continue with the Flutter, depending on the use case you have. So understanding the market penetration helps you definitely select the platform better. And later on, we will see about how the revenue helps in deciding this factor as well. Now you already know the idea, you know the audience, and you know which market you want to penetrate. So let's just learn some key things you want to remember before making an app. We're not going to go deep into the tech, but these are the things you need to know when you're designing or creating a product, so that you are kind of future saving you from a lot of trouble, which I have already learned from my mistakes and other people. So you definitely want to focus on the must-have features. Like you design an idea, let's just say it's a one-to-one encryption chat app like Signal, or their core idea is it should be an encryption chat app. But then when you create this, you will have always new ideas in the mind, like, oh, this chat app can do video call also, this can do voice call also. But those are all add-ons to your features. So always make sure you have a must-have feature working, no matter what other factor you think people can help or it can help the product. And when we are starting the app, we always tends to use like free versions or free APIs or cheaper version of the services, which is fine, which is a good way to start a product because you're starting with 0 users. But you definitely have to keep your in mind the scale and the flexibility, in the sense like later on, if your app is growing in numbers, you have enough flexibility to move from this free version of API to a paid version of API, or free cloud version to a different cloud version, and easily adapt to the new version without interrupting your user base. So keep the design and the scale in your mind before designing anything, even though you are not sure that you're going to target 10,000 user or 100,000 or 1 million user. But it's future safe you that you have a scale and flexibility in the mind. Also, many people make mistake. They make a cool UI or fancy UI, but they actually do not study the UI and UX of your app. So if you're targeting an app, let's just say for older generation or for some other segment of the generation, you need to make sure that how they navigate through app, what are they, how do they use your app, and you need to understand what are the UX improvement you can make, not just improving the look and feel, but how users, different segment of users are navigating through your app. So that will help you building a broader reach to the different segment using their app. And always at start, when you're starting, you are always interested in like, oh, we can add this too, we can add this fancy stuff too. But I would suggest that always stick to basics, validate your idea, which you have already wrote down, which are the must-have features. And once they start working, and then you can always add on new stuff. But you have to make sure that your core that you have laid down is very good and everything is built around that. If your core is not working, there's no use of other stuff you are building on top of it. Also, when you start your app, you start with 0 downloads. So definitely use referral, sharing, deep linking, cashback, or these small kind of hacks that help you grow. So once you onboard some user, you make sure that they have ability to share the app to the outside the users. They have ability to refer to the friends to just get any rewards or unlock anything. That helps a lot, creating an organic loop of sharing the application. And and you do not have to do any marketing for that. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, learn about bit security measures when you're creating an app, especially if your app is related to cryptocurrency, if it's related to fintech. You want to make sure that you are doing all the proper security measures which are provided, so you can prevent your user from the future loss, because these fintech apps are very high stake apps. People are transacting billions of dollars, and you want to make sure that your app is not the reason causing any disruption in that. So definitely always stay up to date. What are the encryption strategy for app development? What are the way you do the network calls, and how you can do the blockchain? And so these things will help you understand that you can enhance the security. Also learn about the privacy policy of the different countries, different segment, different user base, so that you can avoid yourself from any legal issue or other issue. As you can see, the TikTok and other applications have been facing in US, Europe, depending on the policies they have. So always learn about this too. And so you're not just making an app, or you're not just making a product. If you want to distribute your product to the many countries, you have to be aware of their laws and what are their rule is. So these are the very like brief introduction of the development process. But I think these, if you remember this, it will help you really create a scalable product which you can keep on enhancing and improving. So once we have done the app development, so you really want to make sure how you release the app to the market, how you take it to the market. And we all know that the first impression is always the best impression. So whenever you're launching your first version, always use alpha, beta, or internal releases for first few weeks of the app, because if your first app may or must usually mostly have some issue or something that you didn't know, and if the app is crashing on production and people will leave, the first impression review will be bad, and later on people you have fixed everything, people coming will see those bad reviews already. So you want to avoid that, and always just start with the beta or internal testing, where you share with your friends, share with your family, and ask them to use the app for like a couple of weeks and give you feedback if they face any issues. That will help you start with a very good number of reviews and the feedback, and help you even grow further in the app lifecycle. Also, if you're creating something which is exciting to people, so start using this coming soon templates that App Store and Play Store both provides. Use early signups, web pages, or invites to generate interest and keep people interested for your product, so that when you actually go live, you have a user base already ready for apps to use. And always when you're doing a big rollout of new feature on top of your core feature, you want to make sure that you do percentage rollout. Nowadays all the Play Store, App Store, they all provide this functionality. So you do not want to roll out a new feature completely to whole your user base. You just can do 5%, 10%, and then make sure if it's all smooth, then you roll out to the broader audience. And always use the dashboards and analytics from the Play Stores and App Stores to understand and how your apps downloads are going, how the reviews are coming, how are the other metrics are doing, to improve the further that okay, you can improve in this area, we are getting negative review from this area, what did we do there? And so you can understand on that. And always keep an eye on crash reports, download report, and other reports to understand more data points, because when you're starting, you do not have any cool data charts or any tools integrated. So you have to rely on the App Store and the Play Store provide, and which is very good also. And you can use them to understand how you can improve your app ratings or your app crashes, and further remove all the blockage you have to go easy releases. And try to focus on like bi-weekly or monthly release goals. So you always set a goal. So you want to make sure that you are adding some feature, because once you leave your app stale for a long time, people start to lose interest in that. So you always want to, even though you're doing just bug fixes, you want to make sure that you're doing bi-weekly or monthly releases. So now you know the release cycle as well. Now comes to the main final point, which is the revenue and the monetization. So before we learn about revenue and monetization, you want to see what are the current trends. So if you see the revenue of the top 100 earning apps, they, even in a quarter, they are earning like 80 million, 50 million on different platforms. And so there's a huge scope for indie developer, for solo developer. You can just start making your app and make sure if your app is targeting the right audience, right person, right product, you can easily start making revenue. Even if you're in college, you're in school, it does not worry about how you're creating an app. You just need to know how you create the app, what's your revenue model, and how you can market the app. So now we know that there's a a lot of revenue, and we're gonna see through the what are the different revenue model we adopt. As I said before, that we saw the market segmentation. Here you can see that the App Store app has more revenue than the Google Play Store apps. So keep this factor in also when you're targeting different area in different segments, that this, if your app is really focused on the revenue generation or the paid apps, you may want to focus that, okay, this platform is generating more revenue than the other. And now let's see what are the different revenue model we can adopt for our application when we create an application. So first one is free. So free means there's no barrier to download. You upload it to the App Store, Play Store, and it's free to download. People can download, and it's easy to increase the downloads in this model, where people can easily download, and only revenue generation you do is either by purely ad support or a brand supported, like some brand is supporting you to just host this app or something, or you just use advertisement like banner ads, the big ad, or some games and apps are even using the full 30-second 1-minute video app which you have to watch to go to the next level or something. So ad is also one of the main way that many applications do the monetization. But you want to keep this in mind, that ad requires a high number of users to reach the higher revenue. So you definitely want to market your app more to more users, and make sure your app has a stick where people have a valid reason to go through that ad and watch that ad. So after that, it is a freemium app model. So freemium app model is, I think, one of the most famous model. It's used everywhere, and most of the apps are using it. So freemium app model is, the app is still free to download, so you are allowed to download the free app. But to further use or enhance the app, you use in-app purchases. Like if it's a dating app, it's free to download. You can use it in your city, but if you want to use in different cities, different countries, you may have to do in-app purchases. And similar to if you're playing some games where you want to get more costume, more gadgets, or you want to upgrade yourself faster, you use in-app purchase to buy their game currency and then use that to improve your game stuff in that. So in-app purchase has been a huge revenue model for the many games and many applications. And also the second biggest revenue model nowadays getting so popular is the subscription one, where you have a simple free feature of the app, but then you have a pro feature of the app, which is only available once you subscribe to the pro version. So you can have like $2, $5, $10 subscription fee monthly, and it helps you a continuous stream of income, and as well as like you can keep adding on, differentiate easily between what are your free user gonna use, what are your pro user gonna use, what are your plus users gonna use, and how you can provide them the extra benefit by giving the subscription model. The last one is a premium app model. These apps are the category of the productivity or those tools app which are very niche, and it's required for one to function. So they have a definite use case they are solving, and you just have to, the barrier to entry is you pay for that app like straight down fee, like $2, $1, $5, $10, and then you can use that app. Or it can be a complete app. You can download it, but to use it, you require an active subscription to go into the app and use it. And or there's a premium app model also use in-app purchase plus paid combo, where you pay to enter into the app and you use whatever the feature is available. But then there's more features to unlock. You can use the in-app purchases to unlock as well. So these are the couple of, I think, monetization method you can definitely use depending on your use case. What are you solving? Are you gonna design an application which is gonna have free feature and it's gonna have pro feature, or you're gonna design an application where it's gonna have some free feature and then you have to add on to in-app purchases? And I think both Apple and Google, both App Store and Play Store provide a good tool to set up your in-app purchases, set up the subscription, and it's super easy to integrate to your applications. You just need to find how you're going to target that, how you're going to differentiate your users from using one application and providing the extra feature that make them spend money on your application. And similarly, in the free one, you want to make sure how you make an application where people stick to it, and if they want to use it more, they watch the ad, they tap on the ad, and how you can further improve your advertisement via your app. So that's a couple of things you keep in mind before you're designing the product. And I hope you like the way you can start your app. You can think about the idea, you can think about the audience, you can think about which platform you're going to start with, and then you can target the app development life cycle, and then you do the release life cycle. Okay, how you're going to release to different market, how you're going to test internally, and then you can implement any revenue and monetization when you're ready to roll out to the millions of users. And I hope you all thank you for having me here. And you can reach out to me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, for any inquiries, and hoping for you all to make many apps, because I think it's one of the best time you can just sit in your laptop, stay in your home, and just create something good that can change the markets anywhere. So wish you all the best for that as well. Thank you. I think you're muted.
Thank you, Gurupreet. I think indeed it was an excellent session, because myself being an intermediate Android developer, it was full of information that was actually very necessary. That was like always kept for the last, but it's good to know. So now we will be having a quick Q&A sessions.
Mm-hmm,
And
sure.
First of all, let me just say about, you told about the beta users, right?
Mm-hmm.
So often we in the Play Store we'll see sometimes an app to join as a beta.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it different? Is it any different from the alpha beta version that you talked about in the
Yeah.
session?
So there are different levels of how you do. So one is the internal testing. So you definitely want to start with internal testing. You upload to internal test, and only the people who are in the company or your friends and family, they will get the rollout first. And then you go to the alpha. Alpha is the one where you have more users added, or you have a list of users. Beta is usually an open beta, like where you have 1,000 users. They are real users, but they want to get the features early, so they have subscribed to beta version of it. So what happens is, once they have those beta version, you get early feedback of your release, like if everything is fine and how they're dealing with it. So definitely you should follow internal testing, then alpha, which target a little bit more users, and then beta, which target all the open users who have subscribed for your beta application, and who wants to get the early subscription, early application information.
Thank you. Next question we have from Sasuta. How do release cycles ensure new bugs don't pop up as the code gets changed frequently?
Yeah, so what I meant by release cycle is, so you always want to release more frequent than doing a bulk release. So it definitely will help, because you're doing the more frequent releases, it's going to be small, how do I say, small feature rollout. So you're not doing any bulk rollout. So it definitely help you improve actually that new bugs doesn't pop up. And the second, your question is like, new bugs doesn't come if we do the more rollout. Yeah, that's why you do the phase rollout, and you keep your eyes on the Crashlytics. So when you're doing a let's just say beta rollout, you can even do like okay, target the 10% audience, target the 20% audience, and make sure your Crashlytics and other reports all look fine. And then if you're confident in that, then you can go ahead with the 100% rollout to the users.
Okay, and I read that you are currently working on Jetpack Compose.
Yeah.
So what are your views on that? Like, how will it help us in like creating more better applications, or which one should we use most?
So Jetpack Compose is just Google's way of doing the Android native UI with the Jetpack declarative tools. Right now, have been using XML for writing the UIs. What Jetpack do is it actually enhances. Once we write the UI, we have to create a lot of boilerplate code, and for even creating a custom button, we have to write the whole files, XML files, have to create Kotlin or Java files, and making sure we are inflating it properly and setting up all the properties, and which is a lot of work if you just want to create one button. Similarly, if we're creating complex views and other stuff, and just a recycler view to be an example, we have to create an adapter, we have to create a item, we have to create a recycler view itself, and then hook everything up to make a list working. While in the Jetpack Compose, you just write like a row or column or scrollable row and column, and you are all done. So I think it's a step in the right direction to so that we don't have to do a lot of boilerplate code. And I'm looking forward that how this, as many of us adopt Kotlin, so it's really great to write that UI part in Kotlin as well. So it's very exciting to see many people adopting it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Awesome. Question from Ankityan.
I have started some app development. Should I still be running app development in Android use? I think myself also, I know I use Flutter as well, and I use Android using Kotlin and Java as well. So there's no, the way it goes is it goes in the conjunction. So I would recommend you, when you're learning Flutter or you're learning Android and Java, learn the basics, how the app development itself works. Once you know the language, or once you know the framework, how it works, it's easy to switch back and forth in others. I mean, it may take some time, but if you know already Kotlin and Android development or Java development, it will be easier to move to if you want to do Flutter development. And if you're doing already Flutter development, you understand how the app development works, it will be a bit easier to move to this Android or iOS development, especially with the Swift UI and Jetpack Compose coming from the native parts. It will be very smooth for the Flutter developers to move to Android or iOS, or Android iOS developer move to Flutter, because they all will be using the similar declarative UI. And I hope that one future would be where you're just writing one declarative UI and just your backend framework either in Swift, is in iOS, and you are setting up your application.
Okay, the next question is a very typical question. Like, do you think Kotlin will replace Java?
Okay, so to give you a contextual answer, in the sense like this Jetpack Compose is completely written on Kotlin. There's not a single line. The compiler itself is written with Kotlin. The application is based on Kotlin. So Google itself is placing big bet on making all this Android stuff, Android API, especially the Jetpack ones, in Kotlin first. But that doesn't mean it's gonna replace Java. I mean, it may replace in the sense of Android development part only, or the subset of it. But Java is already a very core part of the Android kernel and other whole projects as well. So it's definitely gonna evolve in that section also. But yeah, overview of that, what we will be using or what API we will be consuming could be in future will be Kotlin mostly.
Okay. The next question is from Arpit Mishra. Why is signing applications necessary for submitting application at the Play Store?
Yeah, so signing application is necessary because signing create a unique identification, the encryption for your app. So once you sign the app, you are only allowed to submit via that, because tomorrow if someone get hold of your Play Store account or App Store account, they can completely replace your app update with their own app. So to stop this kind of behavior, they want to make sure the account, the application, the signing, and the code base all are in one line, and if any of them got stolen or you lost the contact, you have to reach out to them, so nobody can just upload to the App Store, Play Store, other than you. So it's a good security measures they use, and always keep your signing info safe everywhere.
The next question from Sutapa.
Is Google Ads a good way to monetize since the app UI UX get affected? Yeah, so I actually am not a huge fan of ads. I have tried it in many apps. But the ads actually works great. As I told you, like there is apps we use that actually require us to watch an ad, and the app's use case is very good enough that you do not mind watching it. Like if I'm doing a puzzle game and I am almost the like it's sort of puzzle and I failed it twice, and the third time it asked me to watch ad, and I wouldn't mind because I'm really focused on solving this puzzle. I won't mind 5 seconds of ad watching. So yeah, it depends on the use case, and for the ad purposes you have to have something that has more user base also, because the ad revenue actually grows when you have larger user base as compared to the smaller user base or smaller market of the users. So when you have a smaller targeting market, then you may want to go with the freemium or the premium model. And if you have a open market where you want to get your app to more and more people, there you can target the ads one.
Great. The next question would be, why does desktop prefer AAV files, the bundle files, over APKs?
I think AAV files, they do a lot of optimizations because APK is already a packaged file. So there is nothing they can do. They can either they have to like unpack it and do the resigning itself, which they don't want to process and do. So AAV, they can do a lot of redundant space saving. So what it do is it does not target all the resources or all the stuff which is let's just say some features are only needed for API 21 and above. So it does not, the AAV will help them not to target those resources or high-end resources to those devices which will not use this. So I think they prefer it because they can modify it and control it over the APK files. And it helps us in the long term as well. Like you are saving space to the users who do not need all the resources.
The next question is from Akash.
Mm-hmm.
Is React Native a good choice for mobile app development?
I mean, many apps have used React Native for development, and many have production app already have in React Native. And I think it's completely dependent on the use case. As I told, like I've met many startups. They start with React Native and they develop the MVP. They do validate their product, and it's all working fine, and they are happy with it. And then I have seen a company who just start with React Native. They meet with the investors. Once they get investment, they move to the native part. So it's completely on the use case, how your app going to grow, how you see the future of your app. And if you want to see the big story of React is how Airbnb adopted the React. They completely moved to React Native and then back to the native. So that's one good read you wanna check out. What were the good things they learned from that why they moved to the React, and what were the reason that they want to move back to the native as well.
Okay, and I guess this would be the last question. The next question would be the last regarding ARVR in mobile development.
So yeah, so I think ARVR, I remember like 10 years ago, 8 years ago when I was in college, I participated in a hackathon with the ARVR, and that was about the making some apps using the on a VR device. And I think since then there's been a lot of buzz about ARVR, and there's definitely many apps now more than before using the ARVR. And especially I think the only reason the devices or the apps has to wait is the devices are evolving still on a very rapid pace. And now I think it's at the level where we do not care about if the camera is used like more than half a day if you're playing a VR game and everything. So I think once those barriers are crossed, there will be a lot of VR stuff already coming, AR stuff already coming, and I think that will help definitely in the coming apps. Like maps may have a VR AR versions. The camera already have so many AR stickers and AR stuff. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And I mean, it's and you need to learn in the sense like once you're doing work with AR or VR, you need for mobile, you need to learn how the camera processing works, how the camera API work, how you can work on each of the individual frames. So if you really want to work on that area, so definitely read more about how you can understand the camera APIs of both the platform.
Great. I think that was last of our comments.
Yeah,
And I have a personal question of my own.
sure, sure.
Um, how do you actually upgrade apps? Like, how does it differ from the native that you have already deployed? How difficult is it to upgrade your apps or change the like the configurations or the money, whatever?
You mean changing from hybrid to the native?
Yes, hybrid from native. And if you like, if it is already deployed on the Play Store, then how difficult would it be?
Yeah, so even if you are developing a Flutter or app, right, in the Play Store, you will be already uploading APK and other iOS files as well. So you will be still uploading those files. You have to use the similar keys and similar application ID you've been using. It's just you want to go native. If you want to use the one code that generated by Flutter, or you want to start complete new code, you can just make sure your IDs are correct, your signing keys are correct, and you can deploy the app using that. But yeah, I mean, it's a big step. So you have to make sure that why you're taking this step. As I said, like Airbnb did that, and they have a lot of learnings. So you want to make sure that is it really needed? Like the Flutter apps, I've seen many Flutter apps have millions of downloads reached already, and it's not like they're not performing well or something. So you have both pro and cons, and you just want to make sure that what you have priority set on. The main reason many companies or big companies want to use hybrid is they have single code base to maintain, which is very easy for them. They even though they can still have like out of 5 Android, 5 iOS, they still can have 10 Flutter developers. But the good thing for them is there's a single code base to maintain and single code base to roll out the features as well. So that's what their preference is. But yeah, it depends on the use case, why you want to take this step, why you want to move. But yeah, that's a good approach. Like you need to plan ahead how you want to approach this thing.
Great. I guess this was the last of the Q&A. And
Great.
now let me know something about if you are currently pursuing any particular projects or anything.
Yeah, so right now I'm currently working on like mostly about Jetpack Compose, and I'm looking forward to create a production-ready Jetpack Compose app when I have a like it hits beta. So I'm really hoping that this year somewhere around the Jetpack Compose hit beta. So I have maybe a simple app, but yeah, I want to roll out a production-ready app. Other than I'm always exploring cryptocurrency and blockchain as well, which is definitely a very good place where you learn more about the app security and app development as well.
Great, awesome. I guess this is the end of the session. And thanks you, Gurupreet, for joining us today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me. It was great. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Okay, guys. So this was our first speaker, Gurupreet Singh. Tomorrow, that is 15th, we will be having our next speaker, Himanshu Singh. He's a GDE. And stay tuned for that. And see you tomorrow. Good night.